IMC Nation Captain. I'm here with Zay, aka the Black Bishop, aka Blade, aka Komodo Dragon, aka President of Monk Life Records, aka Zay. He's here on the Zoom stream. You guys can join the Zoom stream. If you go to the bio, there's a group. Girls, don't go. I'll just kick you out. But guys, you can go to the group in the bio, join the Telegram, and that's where the Zoom link is. So Zay works here, lives here, games with us, just lives with us, everything. We are him, he is us. He is IMC Nation. He's one of the top 30 to 35 guys that moved to Vegas. And I say 30 to 35 because just because everybody moves to Vegas doesn't mean everybody succeeds. Just because you go to the Navy SEAL tryouts doesn't mean you become a Navy SEAL. Just because you go to boot camp doesn't mean you graduate boot camp. It's still something that you made it there, but... So, 30 to 35 guys here in Vegas, and he's among the top 20, top 15 even. And in his own right, number one, because nobody could be Zay. And what we're seeing is a new level of Zay lately, and I wanted to have him on show because I want to reintroduce Zay to everybody and be there for that. So that's what this is. This is there's all kinds of hip hop songs that talk like that, right? There's like, allow me to reintroduce myself, like that kind of language pattern. So that's basically what this is. And guys that are on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you don't see him here, but you could join the Zoom and see him. The people on YouTube you see because we're streaming right from the Zoom to the YouTube. So shout out everybody. Shout out IMC Nation, AZD, founder of IMC Nation. I live with him. Zay and I are working with him and around him like very frequently. And it's a real deal. Like, he's the real deal. The movement is the real deal. And, that's where I come in. I come in as the reconnaissance of, like, communicating with so many guys around the planet about this stuff at the highest levels that I can. And I keep pushing that, And so I'm surveying the condition of men and male consciousness. I'm doing it with women also, but it's just a different agenda there. Like, so I don't need to say more than that. So, Zay... There's the introduction, man. I don't know exactly where to get started other than today, you're talking about third-person perspective, seeing your own game from the outside, calibrating your character, and, you got a lot of, friendships that you're building with beautiful women. You already have the tightest relationships around on Earth with the other guys. Because you live with them and you exist with them. It's not just like a forced thing. It's not a temporary thing either. Like, you got, when I say 30 to 35, now I'll say probably 20 to 25 guys who committed their life to this here in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And that's really dope tribe strength. You know what I mean? But then you're also a player. You're playing the game. And you came from whatever upbringing we were talking about before and after photos today, and like from the old original base one when you first heard the advice of wear your African garb, wear some, you know what I mean? And you changed right away. Like the next day you go, what is that, Zay? Zay. Oh man. And so take us through it, man. What's the update with you? Reintroduce yourself to us. Who is Zay?
Yeah, man. I'm just, first of all, thank you, Yogi, for having me on here, man. I've been working with Yogi for 4 years now, and he's been one of the guys that's been helping me and pushing everybody, to really be part of IMC Nation, because he knows the value of the whole community. And me being part of it, at first I was really far away, back in ATL. And
that's Atlanta for squares out there.
But yeah, that's Atlanta. And being back there, though, I was just, trying to suck it up as best I could. And I knew that seeing from the other side of, okay, look at how the way that base one was formed. That was the first base ever, and that was just interesting to see, like you say, like it wasn't forced. It was more like guys who were on the same purpose, moving in together that way. And it was just, and I realized that you guys were operating with a different environment. Y'all was coming home to that.
Yes.
And a lot of guys who are either... they're either living with their parents or they're living by themselves or living with their girlfriends. It's like they go back to that default. Like they don't live in like a base, like a strong, like you don't exist with other people. That's I like what you said about that.
Yeah.
So for me, what's grown out of me is just really being around like all the guys, all the top guys in IMC Nation every single morning. That's
True.
really, if I was, let's just say, even if I was to be a quote unquote other, if I wasn't me, I would still have a night job, and in the morning I would come up to see ACD. Like I would listen to the lecture, be part of the
Exactly.
show or something like that.
Exactly.
You know,
Dude, just come around.
and
The value gets lost. Just come around like
exactly,
when I was coming up, man, I know what it was like, Zay. I was in
yeah,
Florida watching live streams and shit. But there was no base structure when I was coming up. It's different, man, and you just brought me back to it, And so the value gets lost, even if it's just once a week. But then you got guys, they go all or nothing. They're either around every day or they're never around.
right,
Like
right,
there's nobody consistently infrequent,
right, right,
or it's
exactly.
rare. It's
You know,
becoming more in field with Master myself, a little bit Shamir. Now, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen with Geo? That's just a random card. He's the Joker. You don't even know. He could be any card. And who else? Uh, there's someone else that's kind of somewhat, but they don't stand out enough, so they don't really.
mhm,
You know,
yeah,
it's basically Eden and Pegasus. We're carrying the load, and then the other
yeah.
guys are trying. You know, try as they may. I think it's possible. Uh,
Me too.
cause that's
That's what
yeah,
yeah, and that's totally changed me because every morning watching ACD tap in the private moment, then seeing everybody else tapping in, it's like the greatest theater that there is. It's like before the show happens.
amen.
So that kind of that affects you. Like
Yeah,
you gotta check yourself.
yes,
Like we say ACD in the morning, you gotta salute. Like the sharpness out here, and not doing that for all these months, it's changed me because now the one teaching that ACD talked about it helped me a lot just to be more authentic. It's just understanding that I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm an ordinary person. When AZD said that, I realized how being ordinary, the people who are top of the field, let's say Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson was to eat like normal, ordinary food, you'd be like, oh man, I feel more closer to him, knowing that he has extraordinary powers.
yeah,
So, yeah, so the art, I think that is made, like AZD's art of like speaking and all of our arts makes it extraordinary.
yes,
But the ordinary aspect of us can just break off these ideas that I have to be this kind of like it separates myself from the art. I can be more authentic. So
okay.
just continuously, just like it's just character development. That's
How
what
did
people don't
the
understand.
how did the ordinary? I got it was a powerful teaching, so thank you for
Yeah,
that. But I didn't
right.
connect it. So being ordinary, you can do you're really extraordinary, but you're doing an ordinary thing in the 3D world, and there's an artistry to that even Michael
Yeah,
Jackson, let's say, could just eat a burrito, and the way he does it, we would expect to be at a certain wavelength, even if he's doing an ordinary thing. Is that
exactly.
kind of what
Yeah.
you're saying?
It, what I'm saying is just to drop the ego and understand that if by him saying he's an ordinary person, that dropped this whole like ego persona of like who I thought I was basically.
Yes.
Because now I'm just like putting a lot of pressure into like sounding a certain way.
Yeah.
So when I took that pressure out, and just said, okay,
Right.
how would I just normally you have a conversation with like an ordinary person? Then I felt I became more authentic that way because now
Right.
it's like I want to connect to them in a
Good.
way that I feel good communicating and they feel good too as well.
Of
You
course.
know, yeah. So now overall, just like I said, just being part of here in Eden and just moving forward into these teachings, it's just being a part of a tribe has really helped a lot. For me, just get closer and see how everybody can innovate all together.
Yeah.
You know,
It really opens up your potential, right?
right, right, right.
Like you have a lot
So
of potential.
exactly,
That.
yeah. So now with that, I know that I have my own lane just because of my personality.
Of course.
So as like asking ACD, it's like you gotta sound more black, you gotta sound more authentic, you gotta keep doing that,
Yeah.
knowing that that's a way for me to contribute to build what I gotta build and bring in my own the IG like the IGs that we all have. They should be attracted to our own so we can continue to bring them to IMC Nation.
Yeah.
So I believe it's just putting me on a road. That's why I'm like it was dope confirmation today just to put me on a road where I can just attract in the artists, the hip hop guys, those guys, and let them know, look, I know extraordinary what I'm doing with the production, the communication, all the things I'm doing, but I'm an ordinary person just like you. And that's why like now I'm really working on like how to build not build, I'm not working on it, but is understand that God gave me like God is working through me, and I'm watching a character through the art of a person who's gonna bring in like a different level of people, like in a sense that like I said, for me it's like we're all in the same art. That's all I can do, you know. Like my art is hip hop, my art is like music and all that, and production as well. But with that art, I had to show them like, look, you're not going to be successful like that as you think you are, you know. And as successful as I want to be with women, with communicating at that level, I want them to still connect to them like I'm just an ordinary person as well, like you. But I worked on like if you study AZD stuff, like I talked to one of these artists. I'll wrap it up right now. Talking to artists, and he basically he was so down to move out here. You know, like he's like I'll come over here. You know, I told him like, look, we study AZD, we pay a certain amount to be around them all the time. We got to do the training. Like I can't even sign an artist now if they don't want to learn from AZD, which I knew was going to come to this point. You know, so overall, like me looking into a character that if I was on IG, like I
Are
mentioned
you
before,
live on IG right now, by the way?
gee, no, I'm not.
Oh, you got a big IG. You didn't go live on IG for this?
I did not know. 'Cause
Sheesh.
I don't have a little laptop. Well, I have this phone right here, and I
Yeah.
was using it for that. Yeah, but
Dang. Zay. Man, you're missing your whole IG is missing your personality right now, man. You were just talking about got to bring your personality to your IG, this and that,
yeah,
and show them this and that, everything you were just saying. But got to have two devices. Yeah, laptop you could be on Zoom, and then a mobile device, Instagram, because this is great, man. I'm reintroducing you. You know what
okay,
I'm
for
saying?
sure. Yeah,
So
yeah. My worst case, I was gonna share this on the page anyways, but
how would you
because
do
yeah,
that? You share the whole Zoom, or how do you do that?
I think you can't do that. Okay, I thought you could.
See, like what, the recording, or what would you post on the?
I was gonna post the record. Yeah, I was for them to like to go. So I will put this on YouTube, and then they can just go from there and watch it.
Is that what you do? So you
But
post it on YouTube, and then you share the YouTube to your Instagram?
that's what I was planning on doing because, like I said, I didn't have like. Well, as soon as it started, I was just like, oh man, like I don't have an IG. So yeah, so I was just trying to find different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's great. Post it for sure. You know, and then if you have 100 out of 100 viewers, you might get like one or two guys that go and watch it. You know what I mean? And it was a good
Right.
intro. So wherever you end up posting it. So what's up, everybody? Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Um, where was I going with that? Art, communication. Yeah, because the guy, you can't even trust the guy if he's not studying this content, because even if he does make it as an artist,
Yeah.
he's just going to be taken over by his lust and what they throw at him, and manipulated by the management and whatever, and get into scandal and all kinds of stuff. We can't trust the guy's conduct as he gets more successful. The leverage that the powers that be have over the human, the male, uh, sexual drive, and his poor ethics and poor discernment, he's just going to get used and then made into a pawn. If he, at the best, if he becomes successful, at the worst, he just doesn't succeed, and we don't even want him. And his mindset is that of a non-successful artist. You know,
Hmm.
in this world, anybody that dedicates themselves to it and really applies themselves and gets out their out ethics and puts in their ethics so that they're actually doing it, can't help but get better at that craft. And you can't help but find business for your craft, especially if you, man. So if someone's not succeeding at least on a steady incline, then they're just doing shit that's counter to survival, and they need training, they need mental improvement, mindset coaching. That's so to succeed, and then also to be given the uh, understandings, so that an artist does not become overtaken by Hollywood or whatever. the whatever that engine, that analogy for that engine of people, executives that would take advantage, uh,
Right.
they need training. So to sign with us, that's what we offer. That's what you're missing. That's what you're missing, is that at the highest levels, as a celebrity, you'll want a coach that is a player because you're gonna get all kinds of women thrown at you, and it's gonna cause you to do shit that you're gonna regret later, and they're doing that on purpose. Or you're just gonna be so frustrated not knowing how to handle all the women, and you're gonna lose yourself in the chaos of it. There's nobody, and later if you come, then be it. But that's where you get the mindset coaching here, because this is the mindset of success in celebrity game. So you come up as a player. Don't do that mistake that every basic sees. To sell them, you still have to sell, just to sell the philosophy. It's like you got to get it sooner than later. Don't get your business together and then get this. Get them both at the same time. You have to, because if you don't, we'll never see you. Nobody ever goes and becomes successful and then comes around. Why is that? Because they get so married to the matrix. The more they get invested in the matrix, the more they have to lose by unplugging, because everything you'll make will be castle on sand. If you got bad game, that everything you make is according to a certain social arrangement that you have with the people around you. As you get better at game, more powerful, more confident, expressive, bad boy, all this stuff, the stuff that actually works at the DNA level, if you want to get women, like you calibrate your character to be like that, that in the world gets attacked. So the matrix program of society is programmed to attack that. And I was saying that for some reason. It was connected to what I was saying. Oh, get your business and your game together at the same time. Because the man, will sell his masculinity in exchange for success. He'll put aside that. It's funny that I say that. I don't know if you catch it the same way or if it makes sense to you. I want to hear your take on this. So the same way a female, let's say she's a stripper, she sells her sexuality to make money. And we'd say she's compromising herself, this and that, whatever, whore. But then the guy has to sell out his alpha behavior and no longer be a real tribal leader, an alpha male, a sexual male. Not that he's going around clunking girls on the head and raping them and fucking dragging them off to the cave or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, male, what might be called patriarchal or misogynistic behavior or some shit, but nothing that is violent towards anybody. I'm not saying that. Just the male behavior that might be vilified as hyper masculine, whatever the fuck these terms are. That the male would be like that, but has sold out his masculinity for success. To get ahead and be accepted, he had to put aside his sexual agenda, his game, admittance of that. He had to gradually use more and more words accepted that would a masculine male wouldn't say those, because they just admit weakness in them. They have a flavor of weakness that just comes with it. Feminism words, victim. And so he gradually sells out his character because he becomes a vote for the dark side. And then they reward him with some success. The more he complies with that, combined with ability. He needs abilities to do shit. But then he sells out I just see that analogy. That's not just the female that's selling out. The male has sold out his masculinity. So when you start to take your ownership of your masculinity again and express it, the world resists. So the man that's more successful in the world has a lot more to lose. Every connection he has is going to resist his charging up his masculinity. Maybe one or two females will get charged up with him and he'll seduce them and everybody else will become haters. And he's got a lot to lose with that. So that's why the guy that goes and gets successful doesn't come around in the teachings, because really their life would fall apart if they became a real player like this. But that's when the Matrix already has you, Mr. Aspiring Artist. That's why you need this training from the get-go, Mr. Aspiring Artist. That's why you got to come in person. So you actually have to sell them on IMC to get signed to the IMC record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's 100%. Look how the way that these rappers are dressed nowadays. Look how the way that all these so-called pop stars, how the way they're dressed, and how the way that they have to, like, especially when it comes election time, you start to see who's really what they think about, or how much they censor about, like, to say, if you wanted not even to vote anything but Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's like you needed that one vote to be there. But what I'm saying is, it's true. You know, with hip hop, we love the fact that back in the day, like some of the artists were like really tough, like the Tupacs and Easy E's, because they were being paid for the masculine, like that. They was being paid for that. Like they would be admired for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
nowadays,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But nowadays, it's like
I think the
right,
art, it was just the art and the content, it was so good. And then
yeah,
they were such a great archetype. And you know, yeah, for sure. Those are like role models for, uh, an expression of that.
exactly, yeah. And the last expression of that is what he's teaching. Like he looked up to those guys too,
Yeah.
and but now I do it in a way where you see, like that's why I never liked the whole world of like being fancy. Like I know I can only get so far in music business because the higher I would get, I would have to like compromise those ethics. If I thought success was to be at like Diddy's party or like to be at like shaking Barack Obama's hand, like if that was the level of success that was, then you know you could easily kind of say that, but you, like you said, you will lose a lot of your masculinity because you have to really censor yourself like that.
You have to sell
And
out. You have to
to
sell
sell
out your
out,
masculinity. They sell out their
yeah,
masculinity.
exactly, they're selling out on that. So I mean, for me, I don't know how they could even sleep at night. Like because you gotta be that way now, and you gotta live that way. Like you have to go a whole day being like compromising at that level. Which once you like come around and you see guys that don't do that, then you feel like you can breathe again. Like you're around like men who are on purpose, who want to say what they want to say, like still being a masculine energy. And as the world keeps going at the level that it is, trying to take away the masculinity, and we just keep it, then it's gonna be a tip. Like it's just gonna like eventually realize that some people didn't compromise and they're at a higher level than they ever expected, because they had an idea of how masculine men are at one level, but they never had an idea of the evolution of that. And that's how I think the big part of the IMC Nation is the evolution of what their standard that they thought was a threat as a masculine man. Now it's like now with all the teachings, like every single month, every single teaching is an evolution of that masculine man. Because now we're going back into talking to God tech, which is the highest level of alpha. But look at how they're like the Jesuses came into the world, how all the great spiritual men came to the world, and how the way that, especially the masculine ones, of course, how the way they attacked them. So, if Jesus said himself that it's going to be I want you to do more than I did in my time, that you will do more. They told all his disciples that. Because, of course, he laid the groundwork now. But that means there's going to be more resistance. There's going to be more whatever's going on. But you will live your life in peace. Because I rather live like a lion than live like a sheep.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's powerful. Preaching it. You should have like a Sunday preach show.
Appreciate, man. Thank you, man.
That'd be great.
You need just the right questions for real. Like these questions that open me up. Like okay, like talk, yeah.
Cool.
And that's like I remember you mentioned before. That's the reason why you liked selling in IMC Nation. You can just talk about this all day.
Yeah.
Compared to anything else, yeah.
Man. Well, we can definitely do it again soon, and bring your Instagram, bro. Because that'll really expand things. Bring everybody. Everybody there should go live when one of you goes live.
Gotcha. All right.
Or when it's something like that. I don't know. There's a lot to capitalize on there. There's just, man, it's right there. So, when you are going out now and your game and your process, what can you say about, well, what's the most exciting thing? What are some of the exciting things going on for you right now? Like, well, nah, I don't like that question either. Any audience question? Mitsael, Mies, you got a question? I just throw it on him. Mies, you're supposed to be ready. So Musashi, always be ready. Where did you draw? You were ready? Fuck, just got cut down by the fucking enemy samurai. Way to deflect, Yogi Chris. You just deflected that. You didn't know what to ask Zay. Zay, Okay, so here's a question, Zay. No, I don't have a question. Oh, he just dropped off. Dang. It's like, this is embarrassing. I don't want to be on the show anymore. Okay. All right. Well, I was about to end it anyway. I was trying to wrap it up with some kind of wrap up question. Basically, oh, there he's back. Here, here he is. Okay.
Yeah, cut off for a second. My bad,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah, it's all good. I was about to wrap it up. Let's do it again soon. Keep it up. Keep up your process. You know, your ability to communicate. You know, that's the art that's underneath everything. It's all art. We're all the same artist because it's communication. That's what. It's the art is the quality of communication. L. Ron Hubbard said. So, you know, that's what all of us as artists are doing is communicating, and it's the quality of communication, and we're all measuring something similar, because we're measuring a quality in our communication, the quality in Octavio's artwork, the quality in your beats, or really ultimately the quality of the communication. You know, in my yoga, the communication. What am I communicating with my breathing and stretching or whatever? Uh, yeah. So very exciting with the people move. It's, you know, my mind just expands rapidly about the creation that's happening when so many guys join forces like this and mastermind. It's a surge of energy that, you know, you couldn't feel just by yourself. It's like it's outside of you. It's like you're getting pulled in the current, or there's a wave or something going. You know, uh, and you know, us masterminding around the tech, the the, the video, the content, how it gets out, the social media creation, the ads and the funnels and the offerings and packaging it, and you know, landing pages and all that shit, and then that feeding the lifestyle, it's going out lifestyle, it's the communications, it's the creation of events, and you know, the networking with. It's a very rich culture, a very rich network. Well, both rich money wise, but just rich culturally and with information and different perspectives. And that's the lifestyle. It's amazing. And then because it comes with philosophy and the teachings that make it so that it's not selling out your masculinity. It's actually taking ownership of it, and then taking ownership of a bunch of skills that override the resistance that the world gives you, and you submit the world around you, and you create very natural order in your life around you by submitting or aligning. And man, what an existence, what an experience that we've gotten connected to. We would have been on a totally different trajectory, just going somewhere so totally different. Like, oh man, shit. And you know what? Maybe 10 years from now, we'll look back on 10 years ago today and be like, I thought I was going a totally different direction, and I ended up going this direction. You know, but even if the direction changes, it was like, I'll always remember at 29, I took control. You know what I mean? Or whatever. That's when I started taking control. And then it swerved a bunch, but I knew what I was doing at that point on. I just kept developing. So, all right, brother. I'll see you on the next stream. We'll do it again. Os.
All right, brother. Yeah, thank you. Os.
Right on, right on.